Hey, what's up guys, it's Liam on CSGO Station, my brand new Counter-Strike channel where I'm going to be going through a lot of tips, tricks, as well as some plays and other Counter-Strike content. I do have a lot planned. This first episode is a very basic recoil control one, but in a couple of days I've got a advanced smokes video coming out on the map Mirage with all the smoke splashes and mollies, and I've got some top 5 plays coming out after that. So if that's the kind of content you want to watch for Counter-Strike, do be sure to subscribe and drop a like if you enjoyed, and let me know in the comments if I missed anything or if this was helpful. So the first series, the first part, this is a 5-part series of how to rank up fast, and I broke it down because I really want to go into in-depth about the 5 most important parts to learning the basics of the game. But the first fundamental to learn, the first thing you need to know straight away in the game is how to aim, right? It is a game that depends on gun skill a lot of the time, as well as strategy with smokes and flashes, which I will get into in later series. So straight away, the first thing you need to know is that you should be aiming for the head at all times. And the second most important thing to know is that you don't want to be moving and shooting. There are some exceptions with some guns and some situations which will come in other series where you can move and shoot and it can be effective, such as SMGs, some pistols and shotguns. But most of the time you want to stop and shoot, and just to get used to the mechanics and get your own mind working around the game, you want to stop before you shoot. Now the thing about crosshair placement, which is the most important thing, is you should always be aiming for the head in this game, and that goes for every single gun apart from the AWP, which is a sniper rifle which just body shots anyone through walls. It's amazing, it's my favourite gun, but we're not talking about that today. You should always be aiming for the head. Now the best thing to do is to try and keep your crosshair up at that point at all times. When you're walking around the map, when you're walking around corners, make sure you're always at head high. There's so much that comes into the game, there's only so much you can take in one go, which is why I want to break down this series. But you need to be going around corners and being ready for engagements at head height, because if you walk around the corner and you're aiming at someone's feet, you're not going to win that gunfight unless they are absolutely terrible. So what recoil patterns are exactly is when you fire your gun, after the first bullet or two with most of the guns in the game, your recoil starts kicking in and your bullets start going in a different direction to where you are aiming. Now I know it sounds absolutely crazy, but you'll see on screen that there is a way to control this. So I'm going to start with the AK-47 and the M4 because they're the most popular guns in the game because of their price, because of their damage and their efficiency. And they both have similar recoil patterns. However, the M4's recoil pattern, as you'll notice on screen, is a little bit less than the AK. They both kind of do this 7-shape recoil with a little bit of craziness at the end that you have to work out. But the AK is a lot more severe, and that's because the gun's more powerful, it kills in one shot to the head, and the M4 does not. So the simple way to try to learn how to control the recoil patterns on both of these guns is to drag down for the first few bullets and to the left towards the 4th and 5th bullet, and then try and hold that recoil there and keep your bullets as close as possible. When you reach around, I think it's the 10th or the 12th bullet, your recoil and your bullets will just start going in more of a random direction, by which point, if your enemy isn't dead, then you're probably dead. And if neither of you are dead, it must be a very shocking gunfight, but you need to just stop, aim back for the head and start again. Now recoil doesn't reset immediately after you stop shooting. There is a little bit of time, and there's something called counter strafing, which is where you can walk, stop and go to move in the other direction, and it will reset your time and you can shoot again dead straight. And that again is an advanced tactic that we'll learn later on into the series. Now the next guns I want to talk about are actually the scoped ARs, which is the SSG and the AUG. The SSG I believe is a one-shot headshot, whereas the AUG isn't, but they both have very different recoil patterns. The AUG is similar to the AK and M4 in the way that you drag down, and most guns in the game will keep this pattern in a kind of downish direction, whereas the SG actually goes left to right more, like the Galil does, which is another exception that goes left to right, whereas most of the guns in the game actually you will be dragging down with. So I want to move on to SMGs, and the reason I want to move on to them before I do the sniper rifles and things is because these guns you can move and shoot with. So I told you earlier, the golden rule, do not move and shoot with the assault rifles. However, The SMGs you can generally move and shoot with. Again, they are more accurate if you are standing still, but that does not limit you to doing that because they move very fast when you are sprinting and you can still aim fairly well. So with the SMGs, most of them is a general drag down slowly. I'll show you a lot of them on screen. I'll show you a lot of how the recoil patterns work, and really this episode of this series is showing you the different recoil patterns and how you can control them. So if the recoil goes up and to the left, you drag down to the right. It's that simple. With the SMGs, they've not got as much recoil as the ARs, and you only want to use them at a close range anyway. So if you're aiming at the head, you drag down to the body, just spray. You can actually watch the bullets go. With a lot of the guns in this game, you can actually physically see where the bullets are going, and you can use that to your advantage as well. A lot of this is muscle memory. So when you're learning these recoil patterns and you're using these guns more and more, you'll begin to just have it built into your body when you should drag down, when you should tap, and what ranges you should be spraying, which is a very important point. With the assault rifles, you should only be spraying at a medium to close range. You can get away with it long range if you hit a lucky shot, but that's not something I recommend. Spraying people down is meant for the closer ranges, whereas tapping at the longer ones. Now I want to move on to the shotguns next, because these can also be moved and shot, but more importantly they can also be jump shot. And what's important about this is that in some situations on some bomb sites, people have got to drop down from the terrorist side to try and kill you, which gives you an advantage because you can be jumping up and down, but which will give you the knowledge to know where the enemies are, but also get some cheeky jump shots off on people. The only other exception to this rule for jumping is that you can do it with the Scout sniper rifle, which is a two-shot sniper rifle. Unless you shoot people in the head, you can also jump shot with that weapon. You can do it with a lot of other guns in the game, but they're just nowhere near as consistent. The shotguns are very good because they earn you a lot of money, which I'll talk about in my eco video, and they're very powerful at close range. I really like the automatic shotgun. The Nova isn't very good, but a lot of people, especially the pros, like the Mag 7. And you do see some sawed-off use sometimes, but generally, again, a little bit too weak for matchmaking. So now I wanted to talk a little bit about pistols, and I've left these nearer to the end because they're very important in the game, but they're hard to use efficiently unless your aim is very good. And the pistols are very varied, actually. I'm going to start with the CZ Auto, which is the only automatic pistol in the game. This gun is an absolute melt machine and one of the pistols that you should not be moving and shooting. It's very powerful, 2 shots to the head from a long range. It shoots very fast at the cost of some ammo. You'll see on screen that moving and shooting it is not the best option. You've then got the Desert Eagle and the newer gun, which is the R8 Revolver. Both of these guns you do not want to move when you shoot. You don't really want to spam them either unless you're very close. You want to be trying to pick off precise headshots by counter strafing, which is when you stop, shoot, and then move again. Both of these guns are advanced guns. I wouldn't recommend using them when you start the game because they're very difficult to use compared to the others. Now, there are the starting pistols, which is the USP, the P2000, and the Glock for the T-side. And again, these are all very different. The Glock has more ammo and is more capable of spamming, and also has a 3 burst function. However, the recoil is quite random. You want to be aiming for the head. The USP and the P2000 are very, very similar. They have slightly different ammo and slightly different recoil patterns, but quite similar to a lot of the pistols in the way that if you're standing still and you shoot slowly, they're going to go pretty straight. If you have to move and shoot with these guns, you can. They're all good for pistol round. But when you're ranking up through the system, a lot of people will just be spamming these guns and you'll think that they're really good with them, but they're probably just getting lucky shots. And most of the pistols you want to be standing still with. The P250 and the 5.7. The P250 is on T-side and CT, whereas the 5.7 is CT exclusive. The P250 has less ammo, but they're both one-shot headshot at a close range. I think the 5.7 is a one-shot headshot at a slightly longer range. They have similar recoil patterns and can be moved and shot, but again, you're much better standing still when you're shooting these pistols. You've got the dual Berettas as well, which are kind of just spam cannons. No one really uses them seriously that I have seen. You'll see the odd pro using them here or there. They've got a lot of bullets. Again, standing still is the best option. And finally, we have the Tech 9, which is the most famous for being a spam cannon. It's got a lot of bullets, it's very powerful, it's one shot to the head. You want to be standing still when you're picking with it, but if you're moving, just spam that thing because the bullets ain't going to make any fucking sense. The last things to move on to are the Negev and the M249 LMGs. These will never really be used. They're too expensive. They aren't super easy to use, although they are good and powerful if you're a good player. These things are absolute beast machines. They spray lots of bullets, but not very plausible. And then you have the AWP, which is the sniper rifle of the game. I've already mentioned the Scout, which you can jump shot with. You cannot move with the AWP or the Scout when you're aiming down sight and shooting. If you are crouched and moving, your bullet will go fairly straight, but it still brings a lot of luck into the game. There's no hit flinch on this game, so if you're being shot with the sniper rifles, you can still shoot back, which is good. These guns both go dead straight, down sight. There's no recoil control, nothing really to learn there. I will do an AWP advanced tutorial later down the line. So I hope that this has helped you guys out. I hope that the recoil control isn't too much for people to handle. One thing I wanted to mention before I did stop this was that having a decent mouse mat, a decent mouse and a decent headset will really help you get better at the game quickly. The lower the sensitivity on the mouse, the better. Any standard mouse, you won't be able to change the DPI, which is dots per inch, which is another sensitivity built within the mouse, and then you have one built within the game as well. Personally, I play on a 600 DPI and I play on a 2.3 in-game sensitivity, which is quite high for most people. So if you are used to DPI, you want to go lower than that if you know what that means. And if you don't, I suggest you do some research into how equipment works in the game, because it makes a huge difference. If I missed anything, let me know in the comment section down below, and drop a like if this helped out. Subscribe if you're new. I'm going to bring in a lot of content and I really enjoy doing this. Have a great day as always, guys. Take care and peace, people.